Hey, welcome to Crippled System episode 237, which I need to update on the picture here. We're keeping the lights down low because it's fucking hot in Wisconsin.
Plus, it's romantic this way.
Romantic. You just get a nice shine off my back, though.
237, that sounds prime. I'm not sure if it is, though.
It's divisible by 9, potentially.
No, it's divisible by 3 for certain, because you got 210 plus 27, right? So it's 79 times 3 at the very least. Not sure 79 factors down further off the top of my head.
Yeah, that sounds about right. So my name is Andy, and I play stuff. I'm trying to get back into Kador, and then I also play rat catchers.
And I'm Dave, and I think I play Circle right now, but that changes a lot.
I'm Nathan, and I am playing a Weather Radovid Northern Realms deck, which is janky as hell. So, I mean, once you hit 20, the grind to 21 takes forever, so that's when you experiment with weird shit because you stop caring about your MMR. I mean, that last part I said makes sense even if you've never played Gwen, right? Like, 21's the highest rank, and when you hit 20, you know, it gets harder and harder each level because what they do is, like, when you're, like, rank 10, if you win a match, you get, like, 70 MMR towards the next level, and if you lose, you go down, like, 3.
Yeah.
Right? So you'd have to lose 50 times as often as you win before you actually can't advance.
Sure.
And then once you get to level 20, to get from 20 to 21, not only is that jump, like, twice as big as any other jump numerically, but you actually lose more than you gain when you lose a game versus winning a game. So the grind there is just fucking hellish, and so I'd rather just stop caring. True story.
To make sure our audio's all right. I did not check that before we went live.
I'm trying to...
Oh, we are good. Look at that.
Yep.
It's all nice. It's all excellent.
Are you working?
No, I was just double checking to make sure our audio levels.
Okay.
Sometimes when I play my video games, my audio ends up spiking for some odd reason. And this is the same computer I use for all my games on.
Okay.
Do we have any topics?
Well, I assume that one of the reasons that Travis wanted... Oh, fuck off, new phone. That Travis wanted to come here today was to talk about to remind everybody about the WITC.
Wait, what is that?
WITC.
TC. Yeah.
Which is going to be July 28th. So just 2 months from now. Just a day over 2 months from now. So sign-ups are still open, obviously. I mean, we don't shut them down 2 months before the event. That would be insane. But 2 months goes faster than you think. So sign up. It is cheaper this year than previous years, if I recall correctly.
Yes, it is.
$50 a person, right, versus the $75 that it was? Or am I thinking of the other event? I don't remember. I am thinking of the event. The point is, sign up. It's going to be a lot of fun. I think Travis might be running this one, and then I'm going to run the ATC. We kind of alternate back and forth which one of us is master of ceremonies at each particular one. Mm-hmm. But July 28th, 2018. It's the 3-person format we used last time, which was really
awesome.
cool.
Which is an awesome format, especially for a regional team tournament, because you can get a lot of teams out, and it's a whole lot easier to come up with a decent 3-man team than a 5-man team.
Correct, and it's such a nicer 3-man format, in my opinion. Not to badmouth other formats, but versus the Commanders format that people had previously been using. Not Commanders Crucible.
Is that what that is?
Commander's Crucible was the official Privateer Press thing where you built like the big battle, like you swapped out battle groups, remember?
No.
Yes. Geezy would play it all the time because nobody else was at their conventions because it wasn't popular.
Sure.
But you would build like a couple lists and they shared like the infantry.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Yeah.
And it was weird. But it was interesting. But no, the 3 commanders format where you're supposed to rank your people like best player, middle player, worst player, and when the teams play against each other, the bests are supposed to play each other. But that's an honor system and also
really easy to game.
Easy to game. And even if you're not purposely gaming it, different people's version of best and worst isn't always the same thing. Which I guess, I mean, if a team's better, a team's better. But it was easy to game, and this is less so.
Yep.
Remember the Elks Lodge. They give you incredibly strong blind Russians for like $4.50. So enjoy.
If I went to the 3 tournament one, my team members would be Lucky, Dusty, and Ned.
Nice. Yeah. For some people, the El Guapo is a scary bandit.
But there was a recent thing with that too. With
It was like the anniversary. It was the anniversary, and so somebody took a picture of the three of them recreating the salute.
Yeah,
which was actually nice because not only were the three of them there, but the Invisible Swordsman was as well. You can see him in the back,
just like the Vanisher.
Yeah, just like the Vanisher.
But no, it's an awesome format, and also I should point out that if you want to run an event, because I have at least 2 events around here in the upper Midwest running the three man format. If you want to run an event, Conflict Chamber will handle the list submission and validation for it, and it makes the whole process a lot easier on the event organizer for it. And I'm happy to help support events like that, because honestly, team tournaments are my favorite style of War Machine event now, and I'm not sure I really have a preference for 5-man over 3-man. I used to prefer 5-man. I'm not sure anymore, but both events are great. Three-man events are fantastic. They're a lot easier to get people for than 5-man events, and you can run...
Requires 60% as many people.
Yep, and easy to handle the list submission and validation through Conflict Chamber, and Rick from PG Swiss has stuff set up to run the pairing for it as well. So we're working on getting that to be even more fluid and easier to run. So
I was going to say you could almost go one step further and have Conflict Chamber also handle the tournament as well.
Maybe at some point. I mean, right now you can have Conflict Chamber handle all of the list submission and validation, and you can download a JSON version of all of the validated lists, and PG Swiss lets you import that directly, and the ATC version, the ATC software that Rick was also responsible for, also supports that. So it's set up so that it's really easy to import data from one to the other. And maybe at some point we'll make that even easier. But right now it is set up so that you can go from the registration tool to the event pairing tool easily. And so if you're considering it, look into it. Ping Rick or I about the software, and we'd be happy to help you with it.
Yep. So do we have any other news other than WITC? There's another... I don't know what the event's called over Milwaukee, or the Super Series or something like that.
Yeah.
Is that what they're calling it? Is it?
I believe it is the Super Series.
Yes, it's the Super Series, which they are fantastic at scheduling exactly on those weekends that my wife is working.
Oh, nice. I think the next one is in 2 weeks. I think it's like June 12th or something like that.
Yeah, another weekend my wife is working.
Yeah.
Well, maybe your wife should be unemployed, and then life would be easier.
No.
Think about that.
Not with 2 kids.
3 kids.
Well, the kids can get a job, and then you don't have to watch the kids.
Yeah, I mean, well...
Those pesky labor laws are going away, so just put them to work in a coal mine, because those are apparently a thing that we still need, and then you and your wife don't have to work.
Yeah. Don't want to... Yeah. Other than that, I don't think there's really much other announcements. There's Origins, which some of us are going to, not us here at Crippled System. I know that Brian Geezy is going. It seems like it'll be kind of a fun event. I can't go because I'm one half of a team at where I work, and my other half is tending to her father in Fiji. So it's
well, I mean, if you're both gone, then you could put all your work on hold, and that way one of you doesn't have to do twice as much work.
Well, no, we don't want to do that because we want to try to at least show that our department still does work.
But does it, though?
It does? Yes. We do lots of work.
Are you just saying that in case one of your bosses is listening?
What? No.
Okay.
Why would they listen to this podcast? So I see that you got a new phone, Nathan. What happened?
William Hungerford is a wonderful and loving man with aggressive hugs, and concrete is hard.
And he threw Nathan's old phone at my foot.
That's basically what happened. Oh, well.
So did you just get a new phone? I thought you said you got a screen replacement.
Yeah, I did, and then that didn't work well. So my screen was cracked, and then I ordered a replacement, but apparently the replacement I ordered is from a company that can fuck itself, because they sent just the glass. They didn't send the whole, like, digitizer display. So you have to separate the glass from the digitizer, and that's, like, safe-crackingly difficult to do, or I would have had to just order another replacement screen. And so I decided to try to do it, and it did not go well, so the patient died in the operation. And so I had to get a new phone. But hey, this phone's nifty. And the other one was riddled with viruses from all the terrible porn websites I went to. So this one at least has a fresh lobotomized start.
Safe mode.
Well, safe mode just hides
incognito.
that doesn't stop things from infecting your stuff. It just hides your history.
Well, it just uh-oh.
Yeah, safe
I
mode
should
just
get my
deletes
computer
your
checked out.
history.
Uh-oh.
It's true. And it doesn't even hide it from like your
ISP.
Your ISP or anything. It only hides it from like your wife looking at the internet history browser tab.
Sure.
Yeah, sure. You need a VPN to hide that from your ISP.
Yeah. True.
Yeah.
Yeah.
New phone. It doesn't come in blue anymore. Wah,
Oh.
wah. So I got basic black. I had black or white, and if I got white, people might have thought I got an iPhone. Mm-hmm. Oh, I am angry, though. I didn't notice, okay? So I bought this one, and it came with the cable and the wall plug adapter for the cable, and then a smaller cable with an aux adapter on it. And I didn't even pay much attention to that. And I was getting home, and I'm like, wait. Why would I need another USB cable with an aux adapter? And the answer is because this phone has fucking Courage.
What's Courage? I don't know what that is.
Courage was the explanation for the iPhone not having a headphone jack anymore.
Oh, you don't have a headphone jack?
No, my phone is courageous.
My phone
Is
has...
that a Pixel or?
Yeah, it's the Pixel XL 2. I had a Pixel XL and it died, so now I got a Pixel 2.
That's such a stupid idea.
It's Courage was their official stance. Someone's like, why don't you have a headphone jack? They said
Go buy the
Courage.
fucking earbuds that are Bluetooth so you can lose them in the wash or some shit.
Right. Yeah.
Because you're an idiot.
Yeah.
I hate...
It's a dumb
technology.
concept, but also saying that it was because of Courage is the dumbest thing. Like that, just say, because fuck you, that's why. Or say that by not having a headphone jack, it can be a quarter of a millimeter thinner, right? Put actual reasons. Say, hey, you know what? I know it feels weird, but actually in today's day and age, Bluetooth is so ubiquitous. I mean, even in your cars and Bluetooth speakers, the headphone jack isn't as necessary as it used to be. And just be upfront about that. But Courage, fuck you.
Yeah, I've got a headphone jack on my phone device, but I haven't used it in like 2 years because of Bluetooth.
I only use mine for the aux cable in my car, and that's less an issue because on the way from failing to replace the screen on my old one to did Brian tell you?
Brian said
So,
you sent him a picture.
I sent him a picture.
I haven't
on the
seen
way,
the picture.
On the way from where I attempted surgery to the place to buy a new phone, I was mildly miffed, and the song playing on the radio was annoying, and I tried to mute it, and the mute button wasn't working, so I tore the radio out of the dashboard and threw it out the window. So I don't have a radio in the car anymore, so I don't have to worry about that aux cable situation. It was just the faceplate. I just ripped that off. I didn't, like, rip all the wiring out of the dashboard. I just ripped the faceplate off and hurled it out the window.
Okay.
Which is nice. Now there isn't terrible music playing in my car anymore.
That's one
There
that's one
isn't
solution
music
to that
playing in
problem.
your car
Correct.
anymore.
And the ratio of good music to terrible music / commercials / talk radio was not good.
Okay.
So
It would have been better. Just thinking, I know at the situation it would have been worse for you, but for me, visualizing it though, of you ripping out the faceplate of your stereo and then throwing it out the window, and then the music just keeps going, where
Right.
it doesn't
Yeah.
actually
So,
shut off.
yeah, 'cause
now
the
there's
faceplate, I had no
actually
control.
no chance to.
I
turn it
did
off.
go back afterwards to see if the faceplate was still there because it might affect the resale value of the car if I don't set it on fire. If I actually try to sell it for like $50 cash to somebody, now I'll only get $40 cash. But it was smashed to a million pieces. Also, chat says, LMAO, I love not being upset with an action in order to be upset with the reason. Nathan is a staunch the means justify the ends. No, that's not it. What it is there were means for the ends. You didn't have to lie about the means, right? The end of taking away the headphone jack was fine if you're honest about why you're doing it. Claiming Courage is stupid.
Well, you know, the big mistake there was
It's thinking Apple would be honest about
was
something.
that you actually
Well,
listen to Apple marketing.
Apple has always wanted to be like, we're the hipster of the, whatever, like, we're doing something different. Also, buy our proprietary cables to charge your phones. Buy our new headphones to use with your brand new phone that you can't use with anything else.
Just since the iPhone. Right, like before that, like in the time of I guess the operating system, the Mac operating system was different. But I would say Apple their slogan used to be and even before that they had does more, cost less. That was one of the earliest marketing things was does more, cost less. And for a while that was true. Now it's literally does less, cost more. Yeah. Right? Like they switched it and fuck you.
I mean, you do not ever listen to Apple marketing because even in the cases where Apple makes good products, because there is the odd Apple product that is a reasonable choice at its price performance level, still don't listen to the marketing because the marketing is all just horrible and terrible lies. I mean, this is just beyond the typical marketing bullshit. Is that most anything that is emitted from the Apple marketing department is just terrible lies.
Yep. But, the people who like Apple even know that. And they're like, I don't care, Which appears to be a more and more common thing for people to do. It's like, I know that thing that I like is nothing but lies and is destroying me, and I shouldn't support it. But I still do anyway because reasons.
Which is interesting. The interesting, though, too, is Apple actually owns Beats by Dre. Which again is a piece of shit product in general. All that is just hype and plastic. Yeah. But you figure that they would still keep a jack in there and then perform,
Well, because there's Bluetooth Beats now.
Yeah. That's what it is.
Also, so two things related to Beats by Dre.
So you could lose your $300 Bluetooth speakers in the wash.
So I was scrolling through Facebook the other day, and one of the ads that popped up as a recommended thing, it was an article from a reputable website. It was a fucking ad. But they're like, these $130 headphones are now $30. And it's like, no, they aren't. These $30 headphones are now $30. And actually, that's being generous. These $15 headphones are now $30. They were never $130 headphones. You just charged way too much for them.
Yeah, there's so many other better companies out there than Beats by Dre. I mean, they're just...
You, of course, have heard my story about Monster Cable.
Well,
right?
Yeah. I mean, Monster originally made Beats. That they had a deal with Dre and.
Have I told it on air? I don't know.
Yeah, you probably have.
Yeah, but I mean, they had I read an article about that business relationship, and basically Dre had people that actually understood the business they were dealing with, and Monster didn't, and Dre just raked them over the coals.
Good.
Made millions off of it and screwed over Monster in the end.
I'm going to tell my Monster story again anyway, because every episode is somebody's first episode, says the late great Stan Lee.
He's not dead.
I know.
Not yet.
He wasn't in Deadpool 2, though. First Marvel Universe movie he wasn't in. Anyway,
he's not dead in your area.
I mean, yeah. So anyway, one of my favorite examples of this whole topic was when Monster was really huge and Best Buy was shoving it down people's throats and everything like that. Was these people did a blind audio test of 3 different audio cables. Have I told you this story before?
Yes, but I was aware of it before you told me.
Fuck you. I'm telling it anyway, and now that you've heard it...
No, I am not discouraging you. It's a great story.
No, my point is I'm just going to stare straight ahead now because both of you have heard it, so my audience will be the O in the half of an emoji that non-Euclidean Nick just attempted to make.
No, that's a legitimate emoji. It's a dude saluting. Oh. You try not to imagine it's a Nazi salute, but it's a dude saluting or waving.
He's not saluting, he's waving. If he's looking right towards us, he's just holding his hand up, straight up in a wave. He's not doing the forward angle.
Yeah, when you do it that way, it looks even more like a Nazi salute.
Straight up?
Nick, do the lowercase 07, which is more obviously a salute.
Well, a salute versus a wave, they're two different things.
Be interactive with me. I know, but lowercase 07.
Nobody's interacting with us.
Anyway... So they had 3 audio cables, and they had people listen to them. And
that wouldn't be more not. Oh wow! It wouldn't even let me type it.
What?
He did that, and then he hit enter.
Do 07.
It won't let him send the.
It won't let me send that.
Now there's a tentacle. Try 07. Why don't you do 07? Lowercase o, capital 7. All right.
Yeah, you see, that's the more standard salute.
No, that doesn't.
He's doing this like it went over your head gesture. That hand's way too high.
Yeah, that's
way too high.
Okay.
Anyway, 3 audio cable. They had people listen to music with all 3 cables and compare and contrast and say which one they preferred. And it was a dead straight 3-way tie with no preference whatsoever.
With store brand Monster.
Hey, Glenn!
Afraid not.
The $150 Monster cables, the like $5 Walmart cables,
and
a wire coat hanger.
Yep.
A wire goddamn coat hanger. It doesn't fucking matter. Gold doesn't make your shit sound better. Oh well.
So which one?
I worked at Best Buy when Monster first came out, and I noped out of there because I was at the time when I was young and I was stupid, and I took pride in certain aspects of various companies I worked for, and I liked one of the selling points of Best Buy was that they weren't commission, and so we were supposed to care about what the customer actually needed, and then they started rolling out shit like Monster Cable, and I'm like, well, so much for that.
There's something even worse than Monster Cable now.
I'm sure there is.
Yeah, and I mean, this is because I mean, fundamentally, it's like, so I have a minor in electrical engineering, and so I mean, I have actually formal training in some of the engineering and the science behind this, and so I mean, it's theoretically possible that Monster Cable is better than a coat hanger. It's not in reality, but it's theoretically possible.
So gold isn't better?
Gold's better for some stuff, not for auxiliary cables.
There's a point to be made that if you have better insulated, higher quality copper wire, it would be better than a coat hanger.
Sure. In a non-measurable extent over an extremely long distance.
I say this is theoretically possible.
If you had 1,000 miles of cable and the ears of a hawk, you might notice an improvement.
Yeah, I'm saying it's theoretically possible. But Best Buy now also sells $400 HDMI cables.
Yes.
And this is amazing because yes.
$400 HDMI cables?
Yes, I mean I think that the line goes up to like $700 HDMI cables. And the amazing thing about this is when it comes to HDMI cables, unlike speaker cables where there is a theoretical possibility there's an improvement, for an HDMI cable, either it works or it doesn't. There is no difference in quality. If you are not getting signal dropout from the signal being too poor, every HDMI cable that does not experience dropout is exactly the same because of the way the protocol works, because the protocol is error correcting.
Right.
So you cannot possibly get a better signal than no errors.
They also have to take their shoes off before coming in the house.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Because of protocol.
I've seen commercials though, where I take this thing, it's like Windex, but not exactly Windex, and I spray it on the windows, and now my windows are in HD.
I'm so proud of chat right now. The fucking sunglasses that talk about HD, the world is in HD when you wear the sunglasses.
Yeah.
I loved
like this. This is an HD.
Yeah.
This is not.
Right. Remember blue blockers?
Yeah.
And their commercial, the guy puts on the shades, he goes, "Whoa, it's like everything's in 3D." It's like, oh, buddy. Oh, you ain't smart.
I mean, I can understand that if you're one of those people that are wearing the color glasses that you're colorblind, and then you put on the one that corrects that filter that goes to your vision.
Are you saying these people are dimension blind?
Yeah,
they can only see in 2 dimensions until somebody
correct.
puts...
It's like, oh my god, everything is so flat. I should open one eye.
Right? The glasses just pry open their eye like Clockwork Orange style. My grandpa only had one eye because he had a scissors accident as a kid, so he had a glass eye. And when those magic eye things first came out and were just super popular, and there were like whole kiosks in the mall and everything, everybody's all flipping out over the oh my god, whatever. And he was getting so pissed because he couldn't make them work, and none of us were catching on to the. None of us remembered that he only had one eye because he had the glass eye since he was like 7, and so the whole fucking time we're like, yeah, grandpa, just cross your eyes or do this or that. And he's like, "That's not working." It's funny because he was disfigured.
No, Nick,
it's a sailboat.
I mean,
it's not a schooner.
Let me find
schooner is a sailboat.
The brand name for it because they sell it at Best Buy, but it's not just the standard markup. It is literally they are marketing. audiophile HDMI cables, which isn't a thing.
Well, sure, but he's talking about the percentage markup, right?
Yeah.
Like a $2 cable versus 25, and so it's a $30 cable versus a $400 cable, right? They're just 11-tupling it.
Yeah, I mean, it may even be the case that
That's
they have greater manufacturing costs, and actually some of that markup is reasonable for the. I mean, no,
Yeah,
it is
but
not
that's
reasonable
like the
for the product.
gold-plated
But
chicken
yes,
wings, right?
Yes,
you
the
don't
gold-plated
need
shit.
gold-plated chicken wings. They ain't worth $1,000. Maybe they cost you $950, so you need to cost them $1,000 to make a profit. But fuck you, I don't need gold-plated chicken wings.
Yeah, it is AudioQuest is the brand, and here I'm seeing Cinnamon Active AudioQuest Cinnamon Active HDMI cables, $479.
Wait, cinnamon activated?
Oh, well, you didn't tell me they were cinnamon activated.
Yeah.
I'm
if
sorry.
the
You can get
graphics
them on
aren't very good, I
Newegg.
sprinkle cinnamon on them.
You can get them on Newegg for $3.99.
Can you just imagine that you would get those and then you activate them and then it just slowly burns cinnamon, so you have that like cinnamony bed Greg smell
would be
going on in your
nice.
house?
But you see, it's like a fuel, right? So like your screen starts dimming, and you're like, "Quick, I need cinnamon!" And you just have to feed some more in
You
there.
just pour it in the back of your TV, it'll be just fine.
There's like a cinnamon hopper to keep your HD graphics going.
That sizzle means it's working.
Yeah,
Gorna,
but it can't do a whole tablespoon at once. That's the
No, you
challenge.
can't. Yeah.
Gornis says there is an HDMI cable that has a built-in signal booster on it. That's like $100. Yes, those are legitimate within reason when they're legitimate when they're necessary. See, the issue with HDMI cables is the HDMI protocol is very complex and requires a certain level of signal strength. And once you get to that level of signal strength, it's perfect. If you get really cheap, i.e. really thin and poorly made HDMI cables, then you can have problems with being able to maintain that level of signal quality over long distances. And so to get really long HDMI cables, I mean more than like 20 or 30 feet, which is where the protocol starts having problems.
And who the fuck needs an HDMI cable longer than that? Come on.
Those lazy
That's a
fuckers that like to have their DVD player next to their chair so they don't have to get up and change out the DVD. Or Blu-ray player. Sorry,
LOL,
not
if you
DVD
don't have
player.
your manservant Enrique change your Blu-ray for you.
But
I mean, come on.
I mean, you
Sometimes
just
you don't
ring
have
the
to have
bell.
him work all the time.
Excuse you, what do I not pay him for?
Oh.
But so there are such a thing as active HDMI cables that have a chip on board that boosts the signal, and for a certain length of cable, that's actually useful. But if you can get by with a cable that you plug in a cheap cable and you get an image that doesn't have white speckles all over it because of pixel dropout, you're not going to see any improvement in anything. I mean, the chipped HDMI cables are useful, but honestly, one of the main reasons they're useful is because you can have thinner, lightweight cables with a chip, because you don't need as much. Because you don't need a lower you don't need to deal with a low. You can do it with a lower impedance and thinner and cheaper wiring if you put the chip on it. So there's a reason to there's a point to that, but if your HDMI cable works, and that's going to be a factor of the quality of the cable and the length of the cable, it works. There's no reason in buying a $500 HDMI cable.
I don't know. I mean, I could use it to garrote somebody with. I mean, if it's $500, it's going to probably have some good tensile strength where I can really use that to...
I mean, maybe if you're watching your Blu-rays inside a nuclear reactor, the higher quality cable may make sense, but in normal use, you're going to be fine with the cheapest thing that works.
You're going to want to watch that in there. Yeah. You know, as your skin is melting off, just slowly burning.
I mean, that's kind of the thing, is that to justify the $500 cable, you would have to be using it in a environment with so much radiation that it would be fatal in very short order.
I like to wrap my HDMI cables around my microwave before, like go from the Blu-ray player throughout, go into the bathroom, wherever, and then go out, and then around the microwave,
You're wasting
around the fridge.
Put a hole in the microwave and go through it.
Oh, yeah.
That way you don't have to go around it.
Oh, then I can easily see my food when it's cooking.
Right, yep.
Oh.
And you can boost your signal. Like if it's getting low, you just put a cup of cinnamon in the microwave and put it on for like 10 minutes, and it'll infuse it into the cable.
Oh, I should put water in there, too, with the cinnamon, and an egg.
And an iPhone.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's how you charge them, right?
And a fork, just to.
I mean, that's
make sure.
amazing. What Apple has done. I mean, the remote charging where you could just put something onto something, you could just put it right in your microwave, turn it on popcorn for like 5 minutes, because you don't want it to overcharge it too fast.
No.
But if you put it on popcorn for 5 minutes, that shit will be charged in like less than 5 minutes.
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense.
It does. I do. Less terrible, although I don't promise that it won't burn your house down, but it's less likely to destroy something that you care about if you don't burn your house down, is putting a CD in the microwave. That actually is legitimately neat.
It is really cool to look at.
Yeah.
It's probably safer to look at that on the internet.
It's probably safer to YouTube somebody else doing it, but
Or YouTube it on your phone and then put that into the microwave.
Oh, yo, dog, I hear you like CDs in the microwave. Yeah, that way it doesn't run down your battery while you're watching the video of the CD in the microwave.
Exactly.
Just turn off the rotation, because then it'll go away from you. Or maybe turn on, it'll be very, like, exciting. Like, it'll turn away, you're like, oh, what's happening? And then it'll rotate back.
Yeah, it'll come back and you're like, woo! One thing you should not do is microwave your Transformers after you played with them in the snow to try to dry them off.
Oh, is that so?
Is this acquired
Young
wisdom?
Andy.
that is Andy from 1987 telling you now, don't microwave your Soundwave after he was
not Soundwave.
It was Soundwave.
Oh, he was the best.
He was my favorite too.
Yeah. I just love the voice of Soundwave. Him and Shockwave are fucking amazing. But yeah, no, Soundwave.
I watched a neat video the other day where somebody took the Transformers the movie and they took Unicron scenes and they unaltered them. Like they tried to figure out. They obviously didn't have the source recordings, so they just kind of backwards worked to
get Orson
Welles' original recordings. And I actually super dug his original recordings because. My guess it was just because he didn't give a shit. It was there for a paycheck and was probably drunk. But he sounds very bored with everything, which super works. Because, like, Megatron's like, no one summons Megatron. He's like, nah, I do, bitch. You know, he's just very bored with it. And it's I wish they had a legit audio track on the DVD of him as Orson Welles just not caring.
His audio that he does in the film though is pretty solid though.
But they tune the heck out of it. They make it that robotic. They make it louder. They make it reverb.
Really deep.
I'll link you this video. It's amazing just how he's like, oh, very well, blah blah blah, don't care, yawn, and it suits. It's the death of Megatron, birth of it's that Galvatron, scene, the Galvatron creation scene, and his just laissez-faire. And maybe it wasn't him just being drunk and cashing a paycheck. Maybe it was a conscious choice that a being this powerful would be bored by these ants. Benefit of the doubt. But even if he wasn't aiming for that, I dig it because it sounds like he's bored of these ants.
Oh man, that's like one of my favorite sequences in the whole film is when Soundwave and everybody are arguing about the injured Decepticons in Astro Train, and then the Constructicons form Devastator inside of Astro Train.
I also like Megatron. Is that you? Let me give you a hint.
Yeah, here's a hint.
Here's a hint.
Well, I mean, yeah, so my good friend Chris, who's probably not listening to this podcast, that movie ends differently for both of us. So that movie ended for me when Prime dies. Spoilers.
Prime doesn't die in that.
He dies in that.
No, that's where he first gets crowned.
No.
Yeah, I remember, because before that he wasn't Prime. Before that he was just Hot Rod.
Why are you just staring away from me and not trying to hold eye contact?
Because Rodimus Prime is in our chat, so he'll back me up here.
No, God damn it. The
birth of Prime.
When Prime dies, and then for my friend Chris is when Starscream dies, because Starscream is his all-time favorite in there, and that is Prime has kind of a bitch death.
Yeah,
I mean he just basically gets stabbed in the side by Megatron and blasted apart, and then slowly dies after he gives away the Matrix. But Starscream just gets fucking annihilated.
Yeah, Soundwave was my favorite toy, but Starscream is he's a spirit animal.
Well, he's done by the same guy who did Cobra Commander, if I remember correctly, for voice.
I have always loved just the sniveling, opportunistic second in command cowards. Like, I love the Dr. Smiths, the Rigels, the Starscreams. These are always, I feel them, right? Like, I get you, buddy. You do you.
No, I am a huge fan of the hero. It's kind of hard to say. I'm trying to think of a word for it. Help me out. This is not going to work.
Well, I know you like martyrdom.
Martyrdom, yes,
Yeah.
that's it. That's
Okay,
what I
was
meant.
going, yeah.
Like heroes that have atoned. That is, or
yeah,
villains that have atoned
Villains
as
have
well.
atoned. So you're talking more like, speaking of sticking with Transformers, but like Dinobot.
I don't know this series, but I know that's who you're talking about. Dinobot started off as a Decepticon.
He has the best death scene of any Transformer. His final speech as he's dying is amazing. Like, you would think it was from Shakespeare. It's so good.
I mean, like for me, like it's probably not the best part, but like my favorite part of Braveheart is the Bruce when he shows up on the battlefield and is leading Wallace's army at the very end of it. That's probably like my favorite part of it. I mean, I really like people who realize and change their ways and and then go become good.
Yep.
Anyway.
Speaking of movies, there are a couple of movies that came out recently that fit our audience.
Well, there's one that's amazing. That's 2 weeks old that we could probably talk about now.
Yeah.
And then
Infinity
there's
Wars?
one that we talk about Infinity War. That's
Did we
so
talk?
old potato.
Yeah.
Deadpool's more a week and a day, but I guess that counts as 2 weeks. I was just
Yeah.
giving you
Yeah.
crap.
God, fucking hate Deadpool is good.
Yes.
Deadpool's all right.
I thought it was good. I didn't think it was as good as the first one, but that's not saying as much because the first one was amazing.
So there's a lot of individual moments in Deadpool 2 that
Yeah.
are amazing. Like, if I just think back, I think like every 30 seconds there's something that's amazing. So I should have just been amazing start to finish. I think what it really is, spoilers / description of a trope / annoying feminism incoming. I think what really put me off with Deadpool 2 right away, and I had to recover from it, was the fridging. Just the right up front. The fridging, which for those of you who are not comic book savvy or don't know the terms for comic book cliches, this is named after a Green Lantern story arc where he came home and a very interesting character who was his love interest but was her own character of her own sort had been killed off screen and shoved in the refrigerator. So he comes home and opens the fridge and her corpse is just in there. And this is how the writers decided to give him a story arc. Because they couldn't just write a story arc that included a strong independent woman. They just needed her to just be a corpse that made him grumpy, and that's his motivation. And so reducing the woman in your story to, hey, aren't you sad woman dead? Now go have story is very frustrating, especially when that character was really cool in the first movie.
Yeah.
So the fridging put me on my back feet, and I had to recover from that. So watching it a second time, I might be less annoyed by that.
Yeah.
Double fridging with the, oh, by the way, babies, and now you're dead. Like, oh, come on.
I mean, but that's like the trope of that thing, though, too. You expect that's going to happen. Like, when they're all in the plane as X-Force, and then leading up to that point, I'm like, oh, this is going to be awesome. This is going to be great.
It was awesome.
And then
It was
suddenly,
awesome.
as soon as you're in the plane, you're like, yeah, I'm great. This is so awesome. I can't wait to be on our first mission. Blah, blah. And I'm like,
All right, yeah, spoilers.
Yeah.
I hate Shatterstar, and I absolutely loved him in this film because all he did was talk about how awesome he was and died horribly. It was great.
If only Shatterstar had done that more quickly in the comics.
But I mean, basically you knew
Shatterstar.
the second they started celebrating that this is their first mission,
Yeah.
this is going to be so awesome.
Yeah.
And like it was a mental twist right then and there for me at least. And I enjoy that sequence more the second time seeing it because, goddamn, come on, with Bedlam, it's Buzz and poor Paul.
Poor Paul. Peter.
Wait, whatever.
I was sad. I was sad. Bedlam died. The Vanishers.
He's fine. I mean, they're all fine.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Like,
I thought did he save all of them or just? I know
You
he
would
saved Peter.
assume he'd do everybody. Like,
No,
if he
no,
would just save Peter.
I think he just saved Peter.
Maybe.
No, I think he did just save Peter in
Yeah.
that sequence, but in the final part of the first part of that sequence of the final film, that saves everybody.
Well, no, that's the point. He doesn't save anybody in the first time through. Like, the only one he gets close enough to try to save is Peter, and then fails. So everybody dies. And then in the credits, he only is shown saving Peter, is David's point.
Correct.
But I assume he saves everybody.
The first sequence is him saving Vanessa.
Sure, but we're talking about X-Force. We're talking about X-Force.
Yeah.
We're talking about Bedlam and Shatterstar and everything. I would like to think he saves everyone except Shatterstar.
No.
Well, yeah, the only one he showed in the movie saving
that
is
fucking
Peter.
helmet?
Or Peter, he saves Peter and Vanessa, and that's the only.
Zeitgeist looked exactly like my stepdaughter's boyfriend. It was creepy. Like, they showed him on screen, and I legit thought it was him. I turned to Raylene, and she's like, "It's Brandon."
And I think that was Brad Pitt's best cameo ever.
That was a very good Brad Pitt cameo. Is that better or worse than George Clooney's cameo in South Park, the original series?
Or Arnold Schwarzenegger's
Or Jay Leno's.
cameo.
I mean, Jay Leno's is very similar, right? I mean, because that's what they did with George Clooney. Except I prefer George Clooney's because Jay Leno is a talentless piece of shit, and he ruined Late Night forever.
I'm not saying otherwise, but I dug his cameo in South Park.
I mean, he was just a cat, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
About as cool as Arnold Schwarzenegger's cameo in The Rundown.
Was he a cat?
No, he wasn't a cat.
Did he voice a dog?
No, but he passed the torch to The Rock, and it was amazing.
Yeah. On the other hand, no torch needed passing. The Rock was legit.
Yeah, pretty much.
Rundown's so good.
Yeah, that lost out in Trevor's poll. Wasn't The Rundown in there?
It probably did. Yeah, I was in there somewhere, and it should not have lost. But a just and correct champion came through. I just rewatched Dread on my phone this morning while getting ready for work. Just watching random scenes or whatever. And I had forgotten about the scene in the elevator when they've got the guy in custody, and she's like, "He's thinking of going for your gun," and Dread just goes, "Yup," and then she goes, "He's not thinking about going for your gun anymore." And he just goes, "Yup." Funny stuff.
Yeah, that movie is so good.
But yeah, no, Deadpool.
Deadpool was great. I mean, as I said, it wasn't as good as the first one, but I mean, I think the first one was just legitimately one of my favorite films.
And it's so comics and what oftentimes like to disguise, or sometimes they don't bother to disguise, but they often sometimes do disguise. That's a good point. Matt Damon was one of the rednecks in Deadpool 2. Which is his second best Marvel cameo, because I also like Matt Damon as wasn't he Loki, or who was he?
Yeah,
Loki
he was
or
fake
Thor?
Loki.
He was fake Loki in Thor 3. Oh, because that's right, because it was Thor's brother. One of the Hemsworths that played Thor. So yeah, there were resemblance. But anyway, this movie is about school shootings, topically enough. Which it doesn't overtly have it out there, but when you kind of stop and think about it, it is.
Yeah, it's a little bit like that.
Yeah. Also, I mean, I had one. My primary complaint with the film was that I thought they leaned too heavily on Deadpool, knowing that he's a comic book character. I mean, I recognize that's one of his. That's one of his.
He only has two superpowers, and that's one of them.
Yeah. But I mean, they kind of. I mean, they kind of leaned on it too much. I mean, especially compared to the first movie, where there were.
Was it you on Wednesday I was already talking to about, or is this me talking to somebody else about the same thing?
I think we spoke about it as well.
Because my analogy was like, this is like complaining that you go to a Superman movie and he flew too much.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was like, oh, damn, Domino was really lucky. I mean,
no, I mean, I just thought. I mean,
probably invented by somebody who couldn't draw feet.
Yeah.
they just beat the joke into the ground. I thought that was my biggest issue with it. The other one is that
they could. So I'll stop you while we're still on that issue. They could have probably made both of us happy by using it in ways that aren't just as a joke.
Yeah.
So, for example, something he will do in the comics is he will read the text boxes of, like, where the villain's layers are. And he'll be like, oh, look, the other page where where the villain's lair was, it says it was at the docks, so let's go to the docks. So they could have had him like read the script or something to know what they needed to do
or literally watching the film as they're watching the film,
like Spaceballs style?
Spaceballs, yeah.
Or they could watch the what do you call it when they show the text that says where the scene is?
Oh yeah, little captions and whatnot.
Yeah, they should have had him read the caption at some point.
Or you could have done the dailies, like just walked off camera and like actually read, like whatever. The point is, they could have been used in ways that wasn't just throwaway gags.
Yeah, but I thought they kind of beat it into the ground with how many times they used it.
They could have did it without doing like so many callbacks as well to the first one, which was, I mean, it was still fine overall, but
the other thing is that I'm not sure if they were trying to make a statement about it or not, but it just was kind of weird that in the one of the big fight scenes at the end, they're going in to stop Russell from killing somebody, and they do this by killing an awful lot of fucking people.
Right, but
they
aren't trying to stop death. They're trying to stop Russell specifically from being a killer.
Correct.
Yeah,
and they're all pedophiles.
And they do this by killing a fucking lot of people. Well, I mean, the guy Russell was going to kill was a pedophile too,
or at least a child torturer. They called them pedophiles, but they were abusers.
Correct.
Not necessarily sexually, although the one did have creepy lips, but that one died right away. But they weren't trying to stop death. They were trying to stop specifically him from becoming a killer.
Yeah, I know, but it was just kind of strange. That it's like, okay, we're trying to tell Russell that he shouldn't kill people, and we're going to do this by killing a fucking lot of people, and then kill the guy that Russell was going to kill anyway.
Well, they weren't gonna do that.
It was accidental.
He's already passed that 3 or 4 times, or 4 or 5 times.
Yeah.
You know, Russell is at the end of that film a hero. He realizes what he was doing was wrong.
Yeah,
and now he could be Flame Fist some other place. I agree, though. That is a horrible name. It's
Flame Fist,
yeah.
Fire Fist, or whatever it was.
Yeah.
I'm also a little sad that there wasn't a tasteful sex scene between Deadpool and Colossus, and or a tasteful love scene between Negasonic Teenage Warhead and Yukio, or just a tasteful foursome.
Negasonic was really cute in this film.
Yeah, I oftentimes
liked
the
Furiosa,
like the short hair. You know, women don't do that look enough. I think
she looked really nice in the film. I thought she looked nice.
Yeah, in a non-creepy way. She just it suited her.
Mm-hmm.
Also, in a creepy way, it suited her. I will say both.
No, I also seeing it the second time around, the amount of X-Men that are in the mansion.
Yeah, and it is actually McAvoy and what's his face and you know who and whatever. Like they're the actual actors all cameoing. Nux is in there in blue.
Yeah, it's a beast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a really good movie. It was a really good movie.
It's solid. Yeah, it's solid. It undid Logan as the last appearance of what's his balls as you know who, but technically as stock footage. So it's the last film where he filmed scenes as Logan. But
correct, and it was also technically in a previous time too. I mean, Logan still technically took place in like 2030.
I'm just talking as far as like when you go on IMDb and you look at that guy as that character.
Hugh Jackman.
Huge. Of all the Ackmans, he's the hugest Ackman.
I was wondering why you were dancing around the title.
Because my brain kept saying Russell Crowe, and I knew that was wrong.
Oh, that would be amazing if Russell Crowe was
just a fat Aussie who needs the money because he's getting divorced.
Oh, poor guy.
Yeah. The fucking burn when he was, oh my God, some news reporter that he was like talking about the stuff he was selling in auction and he mentioned something and she's like, are you saving that for your next divorce? It's like, whoa, lady, mean. But I respect it. And Han Solo bombed.
Well, it didn't bomb. It still took the box office. It still made like $130-some million, but it was like $130-some million globally, I think.
Yeah.
And that's not.
I mean, this is also Disney, and Disney was unhappy with Age of Ultron making $1.6 billion.
Well, maybe. Oh, excuse me. It's just normally with a tentpole thing like this. Like, what did Avengers 3, Infinity War, make just in America on its first week?
Oh, well over a quarter.
Right. So this made half as much globally as Infinity War made just in America.
Yeah.
Like, that shows you that, number one, hey, guess what, guys? I love Star Wars too, but I ain't even fucking bothering. I'm tired. I'm just tired. And two, solo movie, whatever. Like, there's an apathy that they are breeding through, number one, these side stories that nobody asked for, and number two, just sheer fucking volume.
Yeah, they are getting. I mean, it's Marvel-like as in the way that, you know, but it's not Marvel-like. It's all about the same fucking characters. I mean, they need to jump on to something else. Like, I'm really looking forward to what's his name's trilogy that has nothing to do with any of the fucking Skywalkers, Solos, Organas, nothing. I'll be annoyed when they have them in those films too. But I'm excited for something outside of the same family.
Arctic Circle S. Anybody watch Solo on the cast? I saw it. I thought it was pretty good. I thought it was a lot better.
I've heard it was okay.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was a lot better than it has gotten a lot of criticism. I mean, a lot of it because of the characterization of Solo. But I mean, I thought the characterization was pretty spot on because every time he is presented in the movies, Han Solo is not particularly smart.
Correct.
He's oftentimes clever.
Yes.
But he does a lot of stupid shit, and he is a terrible smuggler because he has too much compassion, and that's exactly what happened in the movie. That's
how he is. I mean, basically, he delivers Obi-Wan and Luke to the Rebel Alliance, and he's like, "Yep, thanks for the money. I'm gone."
Arctic Circle asked, "How did Glover do?" Donald Glover was great. As Lando,
is he ever not?
Well, I mean, he was Lando Calrissian. I mean, I don't even know the guy that was playing Han Solo because honestly, the casting wasn't great for that. I mean, I thought he did fine because, as I said, the characterization was fine. They could have gotten a better actor for Han Solo, but Donald Glover was Lando Calrissian, and he was fantastic.
Yeah,
has Donald Glover ever not been amazing?
Some of the stuff, though, I mean, basically when I haven't seen it yet. I was going to see it this morning. Instead, I chose to go see Deadpool 2 again. So I might go see it tomorrow morning before I go off and do horrible things out in the world. But it just, like, the initial trailers for it turned me off so much of the film that I didn't want to do anything with it. And then as the trailers started coming out, you got to see a little bit more of
every trailer was better than the previous trailer.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I was on board from the first trailer because Woody Harrelson was in it, and Woody Harrelson's one of my favorite actors, and he was good in it. I mean, Donald Glover stole the show.
Yeah. Somebody had asked then too: has any of us seen the Happy Time Murders trailer yet?
I did.
Yes.
I feel like there's a point where you're trying too hard to be offensive because you think it's funny just to be offensive, and a lot of the stuff in the trailer felt like that. But
the Happy Time Murders was. I mean, we saw the trailer, the trailer, and they had the sex joke in the trailer.
It was the Red Band trailer, though.
Yeah.
I mean,
him ejaculating silly string for an hour,
and
that would have been great to see in the film. And not spoiled in the film. That would have been funny as hell.
So that scene was not funny, and it went on too long in the trailer.
No, right. But if it was in the movie, though, it would have been funny. If you didn't know that was, now you know that's coming up. Now you'll be like groaning when it comes in there.
Also, it's possible. So the thing is, it goes on. There is a point where something goes on too long, and then it keeps going, and it comes back around to being funny again. And it's possible that in the film it does that, and in the trailer it doesn't. But I'm not sure.
I'm not betting on it.
It is a risky bet.
Yeah. I'm not betting on that because that was just the trailer was so bad. Because I mean, there were a lot of other bad jokes in that, but it's just they couldn't splice together 2 minutes in a theatrical trailer that were interesting, and they had to have one terrible joke going on way too long in the trailer.
Yeah,
which doesn't. I mean, the Angry Birds movie had a good trailer. And that's not
and the guy peeing in the lake, and they're all like,
but that was the funniest thing in the entire movie.
That's a bad sign.
I know, but I mean that was that I'm saying the Angry Birds movie was not a good movie, but the trailer didn't make it seem like it was a terrible movie. The Happy Time Murders trailer did not meet the level of the Angry Birds movie, and that's saying something.
Side note: I'm going through Donald Glover's IMDb, and the only thing I found that was an iffy thing, but I recall him still being pretty good in it, is The Lazarus Effect, which was a terrible horror movie that deserved to be direct-to-video. Yeah, no, I am safe saying that Donald Glover has been amazing in everything he's ever done. Also, side note, he's Simba in the live-action Lion King that's coming out. Fuck that movie. Fuck it so hard with a corkscrew. You shitty fucking movie.
Well, that will go into a different topic. As somebody had asked us too, is what do you think about Thundercats Go?
Sure.
And the reboot of classics. I'm not a fan of Thundercats Go.
I mean, Teen Titans Go is
going to
terrible.
be fine.
Yeah, it is what it is. It's for 6-year-olds, right? And when we saw Thundercats, we were 6-year-olds too. Yeah. Although I feel like, so you look at the Transformers movie, right? Yes. That was for kids, and people fucking died. You can have drama and violence and actual stakes in things for kids. And you compare Teen Titans to Teen Titans Go, and you have saccharine, disposable nothingness because it's for kids, and then you have actual drama with depth and emotion and character development. And I feel like that's what they're doing with Thundercats as well. And it excuses you, it's for kids, whatever, it can be stupid. Well, you can make good stuff for kids, too.
Yeah. Rodimus Prime says director problems scare me, and there was one bit in Solo, and without spoiling it too much, there was a war scene that looked like it was originally filmed as a flashback, but was made into the main narrative arc, and really was out of place in the main narrative arc. And I'm pretty sure that was just because of the director problems. But yeah, I mean, it's in retrospect, because I read about the director problems after the movie, because for movies like that, I don't like to read anything about them going into it.
Sure, and that's a good way to do it.
Yeah, I read about the director problems after the fact, and then it's like, oh, that explains this being weird, or that explains this, that there are a couple of things that just didn't add up. But once you say, oh, there are director problems, yeah, it makes sense.
So okay, this is. I don't honestly even care about spoilers that much, because it's one of those things that's it's a prequel, so it's stuff that we already know. Yeah, like, I mean, nobody's gonna die that we know.
Yeah, there's gonna be a Kessel Run.
Yeah,
Jabba the Hutt's gonna make an appearance.
Han
is gonna save Chewie's life so that Chewie has the life debt to him.
Yeah.
Am I missing anything so far?
Well, you're wrong about one of them.
Okay, no Jabba.
Yeah.
Okay, no Jabba. Sure.
He's mentioned.
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
Well.
Sure. I'll call that one a draw. That one's a push.
There,
I get my ante back on that one, but I don't lose the bet.
I mean, there's so many. Basically, like now, there's crime bosses. Crime bosses in our world now. There are so many of them.
He gets the
vest. Why does this one have to deal with just this one crime boss?
He gets the vest.
It's not the same. It's not the same vest. He gets the blaster.
Well, the blaster was going to be the next one. I knew the blaster and the vest. I both expect those are both iconic. I thought he would start with neither and end with both.
I mean, he starts with neither and he ends with a. I don't think it's the same vest, but he gets.
He ended up wearing a vest with a white shirt and the brown pants. He ends up dressed as Han Solo.
No, he doesn't. It's not a vest. It's a leather jacket. It's a leather jacket that's cut similar to the vest.
Okay, well that's different.
Yeah, but yes, different. He ends up with the blaster and the same holster.
Sure.
And they only mention Jabba the Hutt in passing.
Sure.
Well, actually, they don't even mention his name. He's a gangster. He's a gangster on Tatooine.
That's well, I guess that's fine-ish, but it bothers me.
But yes, I mean, anybody going into this, you know that Han Solo and Chewbacca are going to become friends. Han Solo is going to save Chewbacca's life. Neither of them is going to die.
Well, sure.
And there's going to be a Kessel Run and a card game.
But
there doesn't have to be a Kessel Run. There doesn't have to be.
So, like, in comparison, we pretty much knew that everybody was going to die in Rogue One.
Yeah. You should have known everyone in Rogue One was going to die.
It seems like from at least the Rotten Tomatoes of that is overall a better film.
Oh, Rogue One was a better film, clearly.
But you said Solo was good.
Okay, I know we disagree on this.
Like if Solo's good and Rogue One is a trash heap, then how? I'm confused. Math. You're saying
it's a solid B+ movie, Nate.
Rogue One was not even a B+ movie.
What?
I thought Rogue One was great.
Oh, I disagree. I like Rogue One a lot more than I liked a lot of the
I'm
others.
not willing to rewatch the prequels to double check. I'm assuming they're still the worst, but
Yes.
Rogue One is the worst outside of the prequels.
No.
I strongly disagree.
I strongly disagree with that as well.
I would put Rogue One as second behind Empire.
So bad!
No.
It's so fucking bad!
Empire is my first pick, followed by Rogue One, and then after Rogue One is probably
No character development. No sensical plot development. Nothing anyone does makes any sense. All this.
Then after Jedi, The Force Awakens, then Last Jedi, then A New Hope. A New Hope, honestly, I'm going to get pilloried for this. I think A New Hope is vastly overrated by Star Wars.
Well, it is.
fans.
It's the worst of the original three.
Yes, yes,
But-
clearly.
Rogue One's so bad.
All right, let's change it. Let's change the subject.
But anyway, go see Solo. It's worth seeing. It's at worst a decent movie. There were a lot of parts of it that were good. There were a lot of parts of it that were just kind of strange. Anticipate that the war scene is going to be bad.
Remember,
and get over it.
Remember how the Imperial pilot was like brain tortured by Forrest Whitaker, and it fucked with his brain and made him like twitchy and screwy, and he couldn't think straight? Because the movie sure didn't ever again. Like, what? You can't. These characters, you can't just shit there and then walk away. You left shit on the table. Do something with your shit on the table.
Or Chekhov's brain damage.
Sure, like you introduced it into your movie, right? Like,
Yep.
Jedi is the best of all of the Star Wars films, followed by Empire, followed Force Awakens, then New Hope. Maybe.
I would take. Other than swapping Empire and Jedi, I'm okay with that. And I would also say The Last Jedi is better than A New Hope as well.
I want to rewatch it. I currently do not think it's better than New Hope. I think it's a deeper, more interesting film, but it has a lot more flaws, whereas New Hope is just kind of like a safe little fluffy adventure, so it doesn't fail anywhere. But that being said, I do need to rewatch The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
I have to decide if people are just being apologetic for it and lying and to themselves and to me, or if they're right that it's shitty on purpose, right? Because that's what people do. Because most of the flaws in the film is that everything's pointless and everything would be solved if anybody would do anything slightly different, like maybe tell each other their plans, or maybe don't waste an hour of my life going to a fucking casino planet for no reason.
Yeah, that was bad.
But if the point of the film is failure, then I guess that's intentional and I guess it works.
Yeah.
And so I need to rewatch it to see if the people claiming that that is intentional and that it does work are just full of shit and lying to themselves because they can't admit they're in an abusive relationship.
I don't know. I like The Last Jedi. I think that part of it was that the movie was about the good guys getting their asses kicked. But I mean, that was the same thing. I mean, that was one of the
Well,
things
not
that
just
made
good
Empire.
guys in the action
Yeah.
kick. Kylo Ren, like the bad
Yeah.
guys fail too.
Yeah.
Everybody in that movie fails at everything they do for the entire movie.
Yeah. But I mean, that was also kind of the people getting their asses kicked was the whole point of Empire Strikes Back as well.
To some extent, there are triumphs as well.
Yeah.
Right? It isn't literally everything that happens is people failing.
Yeah.
Like, because you can succeed while getting your ass kicked. And Empire consisted of that to a very large extent.
Yeah.
I mean, and Empire also completely set up the next movie. They're like, oh, they're going to go rescue Han, et cetera, or they could have left it not happening there because that was, I think Harrison Ford was
Yeah,
in
he wanted
contract
out.
dispute at that time.
Contract disputed as much as that he just didn't want to make any more
Sure.
movies.
But I mean, but with The Last Jedi though, it's on almost an open road to how the rest of the last part of that trilogy goes. We don't. I mean, it's
Well, I mean,
There's
here
no
again, we
clear
have the
road
problem
to
with director problems. I think to a certain point they had to leave it wide open, since I don't think when the script was written they knew who was writing the script of episode 9.
I am most curious to see, because the one thing that they've all agreed on was that film 7, they were focusing on Han. Film 8, they were focusing on Luke. And film 9, they were going to focus on Leia, which is unfortunate. So it is very curious to me whether they will stick with that and recast, stick with that and CGI, or change their entire trilogy plan and kill her off before the title call.
I think that was. I didn't get to watch The Last Jedi a second time, and that was the only thing that really hurt me going into the film. It's like somebody spoiling that somebody's going to die, or that you have a feeling that somebody's going to die. It's like every single time that Leia was involved in something, like, oh, she just died. Oh, that's kind of a cool way to nope, she's flying through space, she's back on the ship.
Yeah, that was honestly surprising to me, is that Leia wasn't killed,
because that could have been easily just just a let go. I mean, she wasn't really necessary, and they probably could have reshot stuff for that final part of the film that didn't include her.
They wanted the emotional anchor scene of her with Luke. That was important to have, I think. Also, it's possible that stuff was, they'd have to reshoot all those ending scenes, right? Because Leia's there. Yeah. And so, the original script has her surviving all the way through. And if you either have to take that time when she's critically injured and change it to a time when she's killed and reshoot or CGI scrub her from the rest of the movie, or you have to clumsily just have a rock fall on her in the cave at the end.
Yeah.
Right?
Sure. Hi, guys.
I'm glad we got out of there. Oh, aneurysm, and just just for no reason, or just
nobody just dies of a heart attack in these space movies.
Right? How is there no universe that Strange saw where Thanos just has a blood clot in his leg and dies?
Yeah,
not a single reality where Thanos gets hit by a bus.
He's sitting down so much; he's just flying around in his little floaty throne.
Right.
And then, just after 8 hours of travel, just stands up too quick and oh.
Yeah. Nope. Not a single reality where he just slips and hits his head on a table.
Speaking of slipping his head on a table, that was a very gruesome sequence of Deadpool 2 when he fell off the catwalk onto the table.
Yes, he fell off the catwalk. Yes. Yeah. Yep. I thought that... So rather than his thing just stopping working for no reason whatsoever, and G isn't that convenient, I thought he'd get decapitated, and then and then he's no longer wearing the collar, but his power would the instant of the decapitation be ha ha, functional head.
Yeah, I mean, it worked for the device that was in the film. And Cable's a little sacrifice to
Rodimus Prime 087. Yes, I am assuming physiological similarities, such as the film proves that Thanos has blood flow because he is cut in the fight on Titan. So if he has blood flow, then it must be possible for...
But he also takes a Norse hammer to the chest.
My point is, he has blood flow, he can bleed. So there's two possibilities. A, Thanos is going to die of blood loss in any moment now. Or B, Titan blood can clot to heal, in which case he can get a blood clot that would go into his brain, cause an embolism, and kill him. So, yeah, it's canonical.
It's too bad that Bedlam wasn't involved in the Infinity War. He could just went up there and blah.
Yeah, well,
Terry Crews could have saved us all from Thanos.
Terry Crews could always save us all from everything.
Yeah. The whole sequence of X-Force is the best. When Zeitgeist goes into, and then, Paul has to go and save him. Peter. I mean, that joke doesn't get old.
Seriously, though, how do you do a live-action version of The Lion King and the best song in the fucking movie you cut? Bullshit.
What's the best song in the movie?
Be Prepared.
Okay.
Is that actually been officially cut? I mean,
it's the only song. The only song that's not in the... Yeah, there's everything else there. They just cut out the villain song. It's like, you kidding me? You fucking kidding me? Bullshit.
Yeah. It's getting really hot in here.
It's getting hot in here. Also, speaking of live action Lion King, because I'm going to keep talking about things every time there's 10 seconds of silence. What a weird thing. So you know how, like, Ants and Bug Life came out the same time, and then Deep Impact and that really shitty one, Armageddon, came out at the same time.
You're missing two of the best, though.
And Volcano and Dante's Peak came out at the same time.
Dante's Peak?
Yeah, Dante's.
Is that the Asylum version of Dante's Peak?
Yeah. Dante's Peak. It is spelled P-E-E-K. It's just a guy named Danto looking at a volcano.
Yeah, and then Grandpa pulls the boat across the shore.
Fucking Grandma! Holy shit, what a fucking pointless, terrible death. Just melt Grandma.
Yeah,
and they're like 5 feet from shore.
Even better. Well, no, she doesn't get any damage to her genes. It just tears them up a little bit, and she dies from it.
Poor Grandma.
Have you seen Dante's Peak?
No, why would I?
Because it's amazing.
It's got Pierce Brosnan.
Yeah, his wife does die horribly in the film, though. Whenever I'm around,
you know, like disaster films.
No.
Not even like old school, like Poseidon Adventure.
No.
Towering Inferno. What about kaiju films? Cloverfield. Cloverfield's not a kaiju film. That's a disaster movie. It's just that the disaster is a kaiju.
I was going to say, I mean, Cloverfield, I haven't seen Cloverfield, but the impression I got from it was just kind of a horror film more than anything else.
No, it's like Towering Inferno or Poseidon, where like a terrible environmental thing has happened and we have to survive it. Mm-hmm. It's just in Cloverfield, the terrible environmental thing is a giant monster.
Okay.
And the terrible view of that is a guy running with a camera.
A guy named HUD, cleverly enough, in case you didn't catch that reference.
Yeah.
10 Cloverfield Lane, however, is not a horror movie and is amazing.
Okay.
Correct.
I cannot recommend 10 Cloverfield Lane more highly. Okay. It is one of the best films to come out in the last decade. And if you know nothing about it except that it's good, you should go watch it.
Okay.
Yep.
What was I say? Oh, no, but along those lines, so I was so confused because I was watching something on the YouTubes. And, Travis is checking something. I need to tell me this. I was,
Your
new phone. Who dis? He won't understand that.
Yeah, but you can't say that anymore because all of your numbers are in the cloud now.
Anyway, so...
And you're using Facebook Messenger as well, so you can't do new phone who dis with Facebook Messenger.
What it was he's asking... He's not getting that... To check the date of the WITC, I had to check my emails.
Travis, just text me if I need to hit him.
I had to check my emails, and so I had to activate the ATC email on this phone, and so it sent out an email saying, whatever.
Oh, and he thought somebody was breaking into it or something?
Yes. He's checking that was a valid login.
You should hook my phone up, too.
Anyway, so the point is, I was so confused because I was watching a video on YouTube and there was a commercial for the live-action Jungle Book movie.
Yeah.
And I was like, the hell? Like, that came out like a year and a half ago. There's no way it's just now coming out on DVD or whatever. Is this just a fucking glitch in YouTube where they're showing me a trailer for the live-action Jungle Book movie?
Yeah.
No. Mowgli, a new live-action Jungle Book movie is coming out like next month.
Yeah.
What? Of all the things to do, 2 live-action Jungle Book movies?
Yeah.
Oh,
the last one actually did fairly well.
Yeah, I saw that.
It did, but...
I saw that ad on YouTube, and I didn't recognize it was a different movie. But I mean, I'm terrible about. I am not a good consumer. That if I see an advertisement, I alt tab to something else.
Sure, I had watched enough videos that it wouldn't let me skip the commercial, and
that's how I alt tab out to something else.
I was confused enough to watch it because I was like, "Why are you advertising this?" Yeah. But
it's not the same movie though. It's like a sequel continuation.
No, it's a different company.
Oh, what?
Live action Jungle Book was by Disney. This one was by like Paramount or somebody.
Oh God!
Because the story is public domain. It's old enough.
Sure.
I am actually kind of hopeful. There have been several Jungle Book adaptations, and not one of them has Kaa as one of the good guys, which he is in the original book.
Kaa's the snake.
Kaa's the snake.
Yep.
Kaa is actually like a Bagheera level mentor to Mowgli, like before he meets like Baloo and stuff like that. Kaa is a trusted, wise mentor, and in the movies they're like, Snake's evil, Snake villain. So I'll be interested to see if this one makes Mowgli or makes Kaa a hero.
Well, going on to the subject of Volcano and
The Toasted Coast.
yeah, you haven't seen Volcano either.
The Toasted Coast.
Tommy Lee Jones. That's basically what's going on in Hawaii right now. We could watch Volcano, and that's what's happening in Hawaii.
Holy shit! The cast of Mowgli.
Who's in the cast of Mowgli?
Jesus. So Andy Serkis is Baloo. Not a surprise.
Who makes it? Who's directing it?
I don't know. I'll get to that. I'm looking at the cast right now. A Bumble Snoot Curly Butt is Shere Khan.
Okay.
Christian Bale is Bagheera. Kate Blanchett is Kaa. Some random Indian child is Mowgli, which of course some random Indian child would be Mowgli. And then we get to random people. But those are 4 big fucking names to the main 4 animals. Let's see if there's a King Louie listed. You can keep talking. I'm going to research more of Mowgli.
Oh, well, anyway.
Director Andy Serkis.
Oh, okay. All right, that's probably why it's being made.
You just probably want to. I wonder, has he done any other directing stuff?
No, but he's just mainly done motion capture. But
Breathe, some 2017 film he directed. So
I don't know. I mean, after seeing Black Panther, I'm willing to give him a shot in a directorial role.
Breathe, I believe, is that horror flick with the guy who really, really, really wanted to be Cable.
No, that's Don't Breathe.
Oh, that's Don't Breathe.
That's
okay.
Don't Breathe.
Okay.
The opposite of Breathe.
The guy who really, 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 really wanted to be Cable, who had a long. He's the guy who was in Into the Badlands.
Sure.
He tried so hard to be Cable, and I thought Josh Brolin was pretty fucking awesome as Cable.
Yeah.
I don't see King Louie listed.
No. Well, they'll save that for the sequel.
Naomi Harris is Nisha. I like Naomi Harris.
Volcano, Dante's Peak.
The Coast of
We need to watch those.
Okay.
We need to watch them.
My favorite part of Volcano is when they're running away from the volcano and the volcano takes a shortcut to beat them there.
Yeah. Because that's how lava goes.
Yeah.
Do I get to be drunk when we do this?
Oh, you can be if you want.
Okay.
We could start right now. I got rum downstairs. Some spicy rum. No, but it's Dante's Peak is not so great. I mean, especially when they're driving their truck over lava.
The Coast of Toast.
Well, no, I'm talking about Dante's Peak.
Yeah, I think I saw that.
The Grandma's
commercial.
Toast.
The Grandma's Toast. Yes,
Her toast a toast.
Yeah, that was. They were driving their boat through a lake, and the lake suddenly became sulfuric.
Because that'll happen.
When
sulfur gets into the lakes, it turns into sulfuric acid because that's how chemistry works.
Yeah.
This is well known.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And then Grandma, I mean, the boat is starting to melt because they're in I think it was a metal boat, and it was starting to melt.
Or it was wood and it started to melt. I mean, either one is likely.
So Grandma jumps in and then pulls the boat ashore.
The last 6 feet that they easily could have just jumped over.
Correct. And then dies. And then later on, they're driving a pickup truck, and the pickup truck goes over lava, and then just the tires burn off, and then you can just drive over lava with no tires. Too.
It's true. Ooh, actually, it was interesting watching the lava flow on Hawaii with these latest eruptions. There's video of lava pushing open a gate.
Yeah.
And it's just like a metal gate, and the lava pushes against it, and it doesn't just like melt it or just flow through the holes. Like it pushes, and the gate just breaks open and swings like somebody hit it with a truck.
Yeah.
Because just the force is stronger before the heat.
It's I
just want to touch it.
I don't know how.
Right? Like,
how do I want to say it? Is like the only time I ever really saw like lava flow like this is when I was a kid in school for like watching videos. So it was all shitty videos. So nowadays it just looks fucking awesome. Even more awesome than when I was a kid.
Yeah, I mean the pushing the gate open would be. I mean that would what you should expect. Because I mean, honestly, the heat transfer for lava is not terribly fast because the front of it cools quickly, and then you have a layer of water vapor around it that provides some insulation.
So the car obviously could ride on it, like the metal rims.
No,
the rubber would melt off, but just drive on the rims.
No.
How long were they driving on the lava?
Oh, a long time.
Okay.
Long enough for the rubber to melt and burn off. Because they got stuck too, if I remember correctly. They got stuck on something.
Did they get a jack?
Well, there is that amazing sequence in there where the guy jumps from a trolley car into lava holding somebody and then throws that person. It's actually the brother from...
Who's the boss? Step by Step. 8 is enough.
Nope.
Just the 10 of
Drew
us.
Carey show. It's Drew Carey's brother who's the one that's holding him, and then he tosses his friend over the rest of the lava as he's waist deep in lava. Like the shock would have just instantly went...
He's
just
okay.
go over.
He's wearing those grandma jeans.
That movie is... Yeah, we definitely need to do that, where you have to drink and watch the... We could do like Double Impact Summer of some sort.
Yeah, we just watch those twin movies.
Yeah, and also Double Impact, because that movie is amazing though too.
Double the Van Damage.
Yeah, it's Van Damme and Van Damme. They're both a team together. Double Impact.
Okay.
No, it's actually Van Damme and I don't think it's... Which is the other one that has, what's his name?
Dennis Rodman?
Dennis Rodman. I think that was actually Double Impact.
Maybe, but that movie is insane. I think a tiger explodes. There's weird shit in that movie. Like, legit, I'm pretty sure they're being attacked by a tiger who explodes, and that's like the end of the film. But yeah, it might be Double Impact.
I'm going to look it up here just to double check. 1991.
Yeah.
Two brothers. Oh no, it is just Van Damme and Van Damme.
Yeah, okay. I mean, I'm going to IMDb Dennis Rodman. Friend to Kim Jong-un.
Bolo Young is in this.
Bolo Young. Bolo, well known from... it's Double Team.
Double Team,
It's the one that they're in together. Double Team.
I was mixing up my Van Damme double films.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, we can see like Impact.
You don't want to watch Double Impact.
No,
Deep Impact and
Deep
Armageddon.
Impact and Armageddon, yep.
Yep.
That still bothered the fuck out of me. And Deep Impact was decent because that shit just went dead. Shit was bad. But Armageddon, let's just blow up an asteroid and it just magically just passes past the Earth.
Yeah, I accidentally watched Armageddon. Or actually, Armageddon was accidentally on television while I was in the room doing something else once.
Yeah.
And I periodically just looked over and said, "What? Physics doesn't work that way."
I mean, it makes sense. It makes sense for using a nuclear bomb to explode the asteroid into multiple pieces. But
No, it doesn't.
But those pieces would still fall to Earth.
No, it's
doesn't.
exactly bifurcating it, and those two pieces are going on either side. Pay attention.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't make sense to. It doesn't make sense to blow it up when you could just use a similar amount of energy to push it.
Oh, to redirect it.
Yeah.
Right. Maybe it was just going so fast they just didn't have the the tools to send up a ton of fucking nukes into it to at least budget a little bit. All right. Well, should we jump over to Zappity Grumbles?
All
We have
right.
A couple of them. I thought there was some in chat.
We had one in chat.
I think we
About
already
Thundercats
answered.
Go.
I think we already answered that one. Anybody else?
I'm trying to find... Somebody in chat mentioned their Deep Blue Sea not having a double, and I feel like there was another late 90s shark film that was a big deal, but I'm not remembering one, so I guess not. I watched one recently called 47 Meters Down. It was terrible. Don't watch it.
I thought this one there was a Deep Blue Sea one too.
I really feel like that, right? But maybe I'm just thinking of that amazing music video that LL Cool J came out with for his single from that film.
You know,
Deepest, bluest, my hand is like a shark's fin.
You know that there is another Deep Blue Sea.
Yeah.
It just came out like very recently.
Yeah, Deep Blue Sea 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe have a fail safe for when your sharks escape.
Or just don't make them smart.
Yeah.
I mean, that's probably the better bet there, is to not have.
Rodimus Prime pointed out that the tiger had double team stepped on a mine, and I think that's not quite accurate. I think that the tiger was eating a guy who stepped on a mine, if I recall correctly. But either way, dying by a combination of mine and tiger simultaneously is a heck of a way for a villain to go. It's almost like Ursula getting stabbed, electrocuted, and exploding at the end of Little Mermaid.
Yeah. Rodimus Prime asks which X-Force characters are we. We're all Peter.
Oh, I want to be Domino.
There's no way you could be Domino.
Maybe
anti-Domino.
Did you see my PDSs when Josh moved into that space I told him he could move into?
Yeah, that was pretty intense.
Oh,
I liked how everybody was talking about it, like, well, not everyone was talking about it. Everyone was beating on you to allow me to win.
Yeah.
But I was foreshadowing everything.
Yes.
Horribly.
Yes.
And
Andy was like, hey, I'm going to win next turn, guys. I'm going to win next turn, guys. I'm going to win next turn, guys. And he was right. And I was also telling everyone that Andy was going to next turn. And they're like, no, let's beat the fuck out of Nathan forever.
That's kind of why I was offering the trade agreement for the throne. I was like, Nathan, I'm wondering if Nathan will just hand me the win because to fuck over everybody else.
I did. If you did not hit with your first stack, which I mean you had a 90% chance of hitting with, so whatever.
Oh yeah.
Because it was 4 dice, each having a 60% chance of succeeding. I'm not even going to get the math there. But if you had missed all of those, I did have a shot, but just barely. Either way, well done, Andy.
That's my first win, and I'm done. I'm done with that game.
Retire.
Yeah, I'll retire at 50%.
500%, yeah.
Yep.
50%. Batting 500 is what I meant to say.
All right, so Zappity Grumble that somebody had posted in here. I'm
you
not
were the
Zeitgeist.
Nelu. I love the Nelu.
They were fucking amazing. Going first every time was so good.
Nelu are insane.
Yeah, I mean, and their ships are really good too. The fighters.
Yeah, the fighters are good. What did their capital ship do? Do you recall? I don't think you built it.
I didn't build
it. What it probably had really high capacity. My guess is because of the fighters. Maybe not. I don't know. I can check when I get home.
I saw I had something. I don't remember what it was. It wasn't really that crazy.
Cool story.
So which are better? Andrew Grove needs to know Wisconsin better. Which are better? With mozzarella sticks or cheese curds?
Cheese curds.
Cheese curds.
Cheese curds. Yeah,
it's cheese
curds.
Yeah, there's no
the best
mozzarella cheese curds.
It is cheese curds because cheese curds. Oh, they're so fucking good cheese curds. Okay,
I've forgotten.
And not to badmouth it, but you people come to Wisconsin and they go, I've heard about cheese curds. Oh, I'll go to the Culver's. Yeah, okay. Culver's cheese curds are fine when it's late and you need to, it's fast food. That's like going to McDonald's to experience a hamburger. Okay, go to a good Wisconsin bar. Get some melty, hand battered, not frozen, fresh curds. It is heaven.
Like the Old Fashioned or Sweet Home Wisconsin,
sure.
Or even the Essen House or Come Back In, or especially if you can find some event that has the Curd Girl food truck, go there and worship at the altar because that is the best cheese curds.
It's amazing. I haven't eaten there as much as I should. I mean, the privateer press staff that come over here will yell at me because it's in my backyard. I should go eat there all the time, but I don't want to be too fat.
Man,
where the old fashioned
the old fashioned cheese curds. I've forgotten how good they are. Yeah. They're so melty, so good.
Have you guys had the Curd Girl cheese curds?
No.
Okay, I will have to find it and drag you guys there, right. And you will have to experience it. OSS also had amazing cheese curds, and then they went out of business and reopened with similar staff as Sweet Home Wisconsin, and now they have merely very good cheese curds, but they used to be great.
I would recommend as well as Come Back In because it's better than the Essen House. Essen House has got the atmosphere that you're looking for, but it's the same restaurant. In fact, the guy owns all 3 of the restaurants there,
Yeah.
and they're all running off the same kitchen.
I do like a Tumblr or tweet or something I saw where somebody was like, "Hey, do you want to eat 6 servings of string cheese?" And I'm like, "No." And they're like, "I can deep fry them and put marinara sauce next to them." Yes, please. Like if I just give you a platter of, well, that's a lie. I would eat 6 servings of string cheese.
I would too.
But-
I mean, that's
But as an appetizer, you'd be like, "What?" But I'm like, I deep fried them. Well, fuck yeah.
here's a character question. Do you eat the string cheese like string style?
Of course I do. I'm not a sociopath.
I'm a sociopath. I just eat it. just
No,
So-
no.
maybe
Wrong.
maybe the last like 2 inches of it. I'll string
the
it.
whole thing.
No.
And if your string gets like really fat at one end, so it's lopsided, you gotta fix that shit.
No, I just eat.
Similarly, the peanut butter, the wafer bars,
Yeah.
the Little Debbie. What the fuck are those ones called?
Nutty bars.
Nutty bars.
Yeah.
Nutty bars. You peel those layers apart and
Nope.
eat the layers one at a time.
We've gone through this before. I know for a fact. And nope, I just eat it.
Do you unroll Swiss rolls?
No.
Yeah. See what's wrong with you?
Nobody unrolls a Swiss roll.
I do.
That's just insane.
I do sometimes just eat the chocolate layer off of the Swiss roll.
Oh, you don't mean like the chocolate cake part, but just the coating.
The coating. Yes.
Okay, I was like, so you hold on to just cream in your hand
Yeah.
and eat the cake off of the cream?
Yeah. No, but I have seen people that have unrolled the Swiss cake rolls.
I have eaten just the middle of Reese's peanut butter cups because they had the old commercials, how do you eat your Reese's peanut butter cups? And there was one with a little kid who said just the middle. And it was like, how do you do that? You just pop it out.
Yeah.
And the other question is, what's your favorite Beatle?
I mean, it has to be Lennon, right? I mean, like, you're obligated to say Lennon, but I have a real soft spot in my heart for Ringo. But my hipster answer isn't psychotic enough to be Ringo, and I'm going to go with Harrison.
Hercules Beetle.
I was gonna go with Dung.
I assume it was spelled Beatle, thus ruining all of your jokes.
I don't care.
It was B-A-T-L-E. No, but
Beetle Bailey, that guy sure was lazy, and Sarge
my-
was always yelling at him.
Hold on. So my
Sarge will get ya.
my mind went immediately to Beetle Bailey,
Yeah.
and I'm like, nobody's gonna get that.
Yeah, Beetle Bailey.
Yeah.
I also the Beatles in the original Super Mario Brothers. I always called them Beetle Bailey because
I think that's what they were called.
maybe
Buzzy
they
Beetle.
they're Buzzy Beetle, or at least they were in later ones. I almost feel like
No, it was Buzzy Beetle in the original in the instruction manual for the Super Mario Brothers.
you know how the Goombas are chestnuts.
What?
Yeah, I read
They're
that
mushrooms.
somewhere. No, I
No,
read
they're
that somewhere
mushrooms.
that they're actually.
You know that's not Toad's hat. That's actually his head.
No, he takes it off in the cartoon.
Well, in the cartoon is not proper.
It's non-canonical is what you're going with?
Because they confirmed it, I think, last year with Nintendo. And Nintendo said, nope, that's his head. That's not a hat.
No, Goombas are mushrooms.
Yeah. You could just Google it. All right, here we're gonna try messing with my Hey Google. Hey Google, are Goombas mushrooms?
These evil mushrooms are known as Goomba, a made-up word with delightful origins. A chestnut in Japanese is kuri, Mario creator Shigeru Miyamoto told video game website Eurogamer in a recent interview, which is why the name Kuribo, which is Goomba in Japanese, came about. So why the word for chestnut when Goombas are evil mushrooms? One hilarious simple reason, the original drawing I had was a black mushroom, and so a program apparently, there was disagreement over his drawing whether it looked like a mushroom or a chestnut. And so they named them after chestnuts despite them being intended to be mushrooms.
Okay.
So, okay, they are officially mushrooms, but they are named after chestnuts. So I wasn't completely wrong, even though I was wrong.
Greatest Nintendo game ever. For the 8-bit Nintendo.
For 8-bit, Bionic Commando is easily my favorite game to come out for that system.
I played a fuckload of Jackal.
The music from Jackal.
Yeah.
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 Fucking
Greatest
Chief can only fire forward and fucking rotate left and right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Behind you. Just get the missiles, and then they spread out. And
Yeah.
Greatest Nintendo.
I mean,
game for the 8-bit.
There's so
There's
many.
so
good
many,
ones.
yeah.
Because that's when the seal of approval meant something. Because there was a finite number of games that came out, and so you legitimately had to be good.
Tengen made good games.
Huh?
Tengen made good games.
Sure.
They didn't have the seal of approval.
Did they not?
No. That was like the big thing. It's like
They got
Tengen,
sued, yeah.
Yeah, they got sued for putting out Nintendo cartridges. And they also had the different style cartridges too. They were like the black with the tip on it,
Sure. What?
or a handle that was. on it.
I mean, you got your classics like the Zelda,
Yeah,
right?
you got
Zelda
Legend,
2,
Legend of Zelda, you got
Mario
Mega Man
3.
2, Mario 1, Mario
Oh,
3.
yeah. So go for some deeper cuts. Like I said, Jackal is. I played the fuck. That is a great little action game
Yeah.
that is underappreciated. An underappreciated RPG is Destiny of an Emperor.
Oh, God, yes.
That
was amazing.
Destiny of an Emperor is amazing, not only
Yeah.
because it's based on Three Kingdoms China, which therefore means Nathan will love it,
Yeah.
but the mechanics within it were really cool. One of my favorite things it did was
You had characters that would fight in there, kind of like Final Fantasy style.
yeah, it was Final Fantasy style,
think
but
I
instead of
played
a
that.
health bar, it was the number of troops
troops
they
you
had.
had.
And
Yeah.
so the fewer you had, the less damage you did. So leaving an enemy at 1 health, air quote, wasn't bullshit because they would do less damage back because their troops were small.
Yeah.
But one of the coolest things they did, also there were like 500 characters you could get. This is before Suikoden. But your party was 7 characters, only 5 of which took place in battle. And one of your 2 that wasn't in battle, you dictated as your strategist. And everybody in battle had their own magic ability score and magic points, but they all had the same access to the same spells, and those were the spells of the strategist strategy pool.
Yeah.
So he was the one who had these ideas, and then they would execute it to varying success. It was so fluffy, so cool.
And I mean,
loved it.
just
I
ultimately,
remember that
it was
one.
based on. I mean, it was based on the heavily romanticized history of the Three Kingdoms.
Romance
era.
of the
It
Three
was
Kingdoms
great.
era is my favorite anything ever. But
Rodobus Prime says Battletoads. Battletoads is overrated as fuck. I'm
it is
sorry
terrible.
to tell you.
Yeah.
Well, it's a good game if you wanted to play first 3 levels.
Yeah, I was going to say the first 3 levels were fine, and then you get to that fucking bullshit speeder bike stage.
I think we talked about this before. I should show you a video of a guy doing it blindfolded.
Oh, fuck him.
Yeah. Next, you'll tell me he beat Mega Man 1.
Mega Man 1 was good. Mega Man 2 was the best. Was the best and one of the best games on the 8-bit Nintendo.
Yeah.
The original Final Fantasy was really good. Legend of Zelda. I mean, Zelda 1 was better than Zelda 2.
Zelda 2 was a very good game in its right, but
Zelda
it was not
2,
the same.
I
same
like
game.
as much as the original Zelda. I really, really love Zelda 2. There's a lot to go for it, and it gets maligned way more than it should.
I
would
agree
love to
with
see a
that, but I still like
remaster
the
of that
original
game.
Zelda. I think Zelda 1 was better than 2.
I would
But
like
it's
to-
close at least,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Why the fuck hasn't Nintendo done this? Why haven't we not seen a remaster of just Zelda?
so there wasn't a
Of
remaster.
Legend of Zelda.
But they did re-release them with a special edition of Majora's Mask for the GameCube. Came with a second CD that had Legend of Zelda and Zelda 2: Link's Awakening.
But they were just the originals.
It was just the originals. That's what I said. They're just re-releases. They weren't remastered.
There was also I have that.
Yeah.
It's the one that it didn't come with. It came with Majora's Mask, but not actually with Majora's Mask. As in, you had to get Nintendo Power, and that was one of the
I
few
think I
times
got
I
mine
ordered.
like when I bought it like at Best Buy or something. They had it as like a special edition
Oh,
you got
probably.
with as like a sales thing.
But
I remember because that's when I bought my GameCube because I bought it specifically for Pac-Man Versus, which I don't know if you ever saw that game. Pac-Man
No.
Versus was amazing. It was a 4-player game that you plugged in. It was a Game Boy game.
the DS,
The DS.
Game
Not
Boy
the
Advance.
DS, the Game Boy Advance.
Yep.
So one player, you plug the Game Boy Advance into one of the controller slots of your GameCube, and the other 3 just had GameCube controllers. The person with the Game Boy was playing Pac-Man, old school original Pac-Man on the Game Boy. The people with the GameCube controllers were the ghosts. And they were looking at the map on the TV, and they could only see a limited area around themselves, whereas the Pac-Man player could see the whole map on the Game Boy, and it was
that was
amazing. And whatever ghost got them, you had to pass the controller, and then you played until one of the Pac-Mans got to a certain score, and then they won. It was a blast.
Yeah.
But it was not for the original Nintendo.
No, but I mean, I'm really curious why somebody hasn't gone and just reskinned the original 8-bit NES game with like the Link to the Past graphics.
So
Sure.
Because that would be, I think it would be, that would be really...
People might have. There might be
simple.
unofficial mods out there where people took those graphics and did that.
Or like a remaster of Zelda 2 would be neat. Man.
See.
Fucking A, Nintendo. I need to get... I know somebody over there. I need to message them.
River City Ransom.
Sure, yeah. I mean, that's a
Faxanadu.
great one. Faxanadu. Hell yeah, Faxanadu.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah,
Star Tropics
Faxanadu.
was also really good.
Are you just mad in Faxanadu they called all those weird monsters dwarves?
No.
Like, you'd fight all these, like, giant winged demons and stuff, and the generic term for the villains was dwarves. And they were all just dragons and demons and shit.
I thought I remembered, like, most of the monsters in that game were named by somebody taking a drunken headbutt to a keyboard.
That's possibly true.
Yeah.
But the whole group of them was called the dwarves.
I don't remember. I remember not... Well, like Wizards and Warriors, I remember that game.
Wizards and Warriors was okay. The sequel was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember doing the stupid levitation boots, and it was like,
Yeah, the first one was fine. The second one was just amazing.
And right now we're all hearing the music when you're in the cave in Wizards and Warriors. You can hear it. It's almost like the Super Mario Brothers cave music. You can always just hear it.
It just started. And somebody's asking about most overrated series of games made. He's pretty much answered it right there as Call of Duty.
So there's a lot of series that aren't necessarily overrated if there were 1/5 as many of them.
Yeah,
Right?
it's-
like a Call of Duty game is perfectly fun. A Madden game is perfectly fun, but they don't justify a new one every year.
Yeah, same thing with like Far Cry. I mean, that was actually probably what hurt Far Cry 5 the most, is that it was so much like Far Cry.
Each Far Cry is fine.
Yeah.
Each Far Cry is fine. Oh, you know what? I think more so than Far Cry. You know what games I think aren't actually that good, and they come out every other Tuesday, is Assassin's Creed. The multiplayer of Assassin's Creed is the best part of it. Other than that, it's just boring, running around, jumping on shit, and it gets boring.
They have at least done well enough to stop coming out every year.
Have they? Have they slowed it down?
The last one that came out was after, I think, a 2-year drought.
Fucking
They purposely
a tail
Ubisoft is-
mission on a boat.
Well, that's the other thing though too. That game is also in the same boat as Ubisoft. It's Ubisoft. That's the same one as Far Cry. Where they decided to come out with a series of games. I don't know. Some people would say Halo is probably overrated, but I know enough people that like Halo a lot to, first-person shooters aren't really exactly for me, but...
yeah, I mean, I'm going to say that, I mean, there's kind of one of the issue with first-person shooters is that eventually they all kind of blend together.
Yeah.
I mean, the last first-person shooter I played that I was like, wow, this is really interesting was Gears of War, because the
less colorful whack-a-mole simulator?
I mean, keep it that the cover in Gears of War was like the first thing that added something new to the genre in like a decade. I liked Gears of War, but then again, I also played it exclusively couch multiplayer, and
Sure.
Almost every game has benefited from couch multiplayer.
Yeah.
Borderlands.
I really liked Red Faction. Being able to actually destroy buildings and shit was so cool. Like, because playing Doom and everything, it's like, oh, you have to get the blue key. And then Red Faction came out, I'm like, fuck you, blue key. I'm blowing up that wall and going around the blue door.
Okay, yeah, Borderlands. Borderlands, Borderlands is really just first-person Diablo more than a shooter. But the Borderlands games were good.
But with a much better story than Diablo as well.
How dare you, sir?
Yeah.
The Diablo doesn't have a diamond pony. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's true.
So I guess we're pretty much up to recommendations. Do you have any recommendations? Mine is to go see Deadpool 2.
Yes, I do. I probably had one when I came here that I forgot. But while looking at Donald Glover's IMDb page, I remembered one that I was just talking to some people yesterday because we were listening to the new Childish Gambino album, and I was talking about Donald Glover in general. And one of his first films, he starred in it, wrote it and everything, is Mystery Team. And Mystery Team is amazing. So if you're familiar, when we were kids and you'd read the
Invisible
books, that's Mystery Men.
Oh, but
Mystery Team is different. You remember like Encyclopedia Brown, those books, like where like
Pee Wee
like
Herman farts.
I don't remember Pee-wee Herman farting in an Encyclopedia Brown. So I'm going to talk to David now.
I'm still going in Mystery Team.
You're fine over there. So anyway, remember like the Encyclopedia Brown books? We'd have it was like a little 10-year-old detective. They're books for kids.
I know,
so,
that was my nickname through elementary school, and so I grew to hate them.
There was a shitty Encyclopedia Brown ripoff called Nate the Great, and so I got that as well. There were many of these books, way more than people remember.
So you share my pain.
Yeah, share your pain. And, books for kids about like a 10 or 11-year-old who little Susie would give him a quarter to find out who stole her dolly. Yeah. Harmless shit. So Mystery Team is, Donald Glover is one of those kids, but he's like 20 now, but he's still in that rut, and so he still is prim and proper and solves who stole my dolly for 10-year-old girls for a quarter because that's all he knows how to do. And then somebody hires him to find out who brutally murdered her parents. And so he has to solve like a double homicide, drug deal, mafia. Like this thing would be on The Wire, except he's this kid, and it's amazing.
Okay.
So Mystery Team. That's my recommendation.
I will go ahead and recommend just to see Solo because even though it's getting bad press and had a terrible opening, it's not a bad movie. It's worth
I haven't
seeing.
heard anybody say it's bad. I think it's the apathy more than actual pull.
Yeah, there's a lot of apathy, but it's worth. If you like Star Wars, it's worth seeing. And I mean, I'm going to say that a lot of people expect every Star Wars movie to be great art and great cinema. Star Wars is pulp, and sometimes it becomes cinema. This is a pulp movie. It is worth seeing because there's going to be some action. There's going to be Han Solo being Han Solo. If you think that all of the characters in the main series in Star Wars are supposed to be epic level player characters and be amazing at everything, you're going to be disappointed because this is Han Solo getting started, and again, Han Solo is an idiot. But it's worth seeing.
Sweet. All right. This room's getting too hot.
God, I'm just going to go home and download Destiny of an Emperor. That game's so fucking good.
Yeah.
Did you, Andy? Oh, did you recommend something?
Yeah, Deadpool 2.
Oh, that's right. You did.
You need to go see it. Deadpool 2. And play Destiny Emperor because that's... Yeah, Destiny every time I think of NES game that I played, I always thought it was Romance of the Three Kingdoms, and that was not it. It was Destiny and Emperor. Because I just looked at the names there, and I remember having like Wafu or Wanfu or something like that being one of my generals, and him just kicking so much fucking ass.
If we're talking about video games, one of the ones that I played recently that I really enjoyed more than I was expecting was Fire Emblem Fates Conquest. It is a Nintendo DS.
A lot of words.
Yes. Yeah. It is a Nintendo DS game, and it is kind of weird because you hit like in the third. It's a strategy role playing game.
The Fire Emblems are a strategy RPG series.
Yeah, they're one of the standard. This game is a couple of years old. It's for the Nintendo DS, and it is set up so that your character is the prince. There are two countries that are about to go to war. You are a prince from one of the countries and were kidnapped as a young child to the other country. And in the start of it, the country that you were born in kidnaps you back. And then you end up meeting back with your adoptive family and your birth family, and you have to choose between them.
So you're Theon Greyjoy.
I don't keep up with Game of Thrones, but sure.
You keep up enough to know that
that's it's the first book/season. It's like this is the...
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You described basically.
It's similar, except instead of kidnapping, it's House 1 led an uprising, failed, so they had to give their heir as a hostage.
Yeah. And no, this isn't a hostage. That they kidnapped him and raised him as his own. Sure. So they kidnap you, they raise you as your own, and so you have your adoptive family and your birth family, and you are surprised to find out because the two are at war, and you have to pick. And so, like a few missions in, you have to pick between which family you're going to go after.
And the rest of the game, they're the good guys or the bad guys, depending on who you pick.
Oh no! If you pick your birth family, that game is Fire Emblem Fates Birthright. If you pick your adoptive family, that game is Fire Emblem Fates Conquest. And if you pick your adoptive family, are the bad guys.
Cool. Well, fine.
Yeah, and also Conquest is the much harder path, and I like that in a strategy role-playing game.
Cool. Sweet. All right. We'll be back next week, I think.
I don't see why we wouldn't.
Yeah. Well, we were gone for like 2 weeks in a row because of Mother's Day and then
Mother's Day and then
Muson.
MuseonCon and then the prison time.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Cool. Thanks, guys, for watching. We'll see you guys next week. Wait.
Well, they'll see us.
Well, they'll see us. They'll hear us tomorrow too, potentially.
Well, no, they're hearing us now.
Oh,
I mean, they could hear us again tomorrow if they listen again tomorrow, but they're hearing us
true.
right now.
Yep.
That's true. All right.